Every Canadian investor eventually faces this crossroads. Do you go all in on global diversification with XEQT? Do you choose Vanguard's VEQT with a slightly different tilt and more Canadian allocation? Or do you keep it ultra simple with VFV, the ETF that just tracks the US S&P 500? It sounds like a very small choice, just 3 tickers. But this decision shapes literally everything. Your long-term returns, your exposure to Canada versus the US versus the world, how much volatility you're gonna stomach, and ultimately, how easy it is to stick with your plan for decades. Today, I'm gonna break down this 3 ETF in detail. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one fits your personality, your goals, and your future. So, let's begin. Why these decisions matter. You're here because you want a simple, hands-off ETF strategy. You don't want to go and pick stocks, you don't want to rebalance your portfolio constantly, and you want one simple ETF that can buy, hold, and let compound for decades. That's where these 3 giants come in. XEQT's iShares All-Equity Global ETF, VEQT's Vanguard's All-Equity Global ETF, and lastly, VFV's Vanguard's Pure S&P 500 Tracker. All 3 are absolutely excellent. All 3 are cheap and designed for long-term investors. But they deliver very different experiences. XEQT and VEQT, for example, give you global diversification: Canada, the US, international, developed markets, and emerging markets. VFV, on the other hand, gives you pure US exposure. The S&P 500, the most famous index in the world. Choosing between them isn't just about numbers. It's about philosophy. Do you want the whole world, or do you want to bet on America specifically? Let's look at each one of them, starting with XEQT. XEQT is iShares All-Equity ETF, as I mentioned. That means it's 100% stocks with exposure to Canada, the US, international developed markets, and emerging markets. It has built-in diversification across thousands of companies all across the globe. XEQT's philosophy is very simple: own the world, own the growth. It's designed for investors who want maximum long-term compounding without worrying about picking regions or sectors. The catch is, of course, volatility. With no bonds at all, you'll feel every market swing. But if you can handle the roller coaster, XEQT rewards patience with stronger long-term returns. Hold up, what about VEQT? Well, let me tell you. VEQT is Vanguard's version of the All-Equity ETF. It's very similar to XEQT, but with slightly different allocations. VEQT gives a bit more weight to Canada, a bit less weight to international markets. But it's still 100% stocks and still globally diversified. VEQT appeals to investors who want global exposure, but also believe in keeping a stronger Canadian tilt. Think of VEQT as XEQT's cousin, very similar philosophy, but slightly different flavor. And lastly, what about VFV? Let's take a look. VFV is Vanguard's ETF that tracks S&P 500. That means you're buying 500 of the largest US companies. No Canada, no international. All you have is just America. Inside VFV, you'll find giants like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, JP Morgan, and a lot more. 500 of them to be precise. VFV's appeal is its simplicity. The S&P 500 has historically delivered very strong returns, and many investors believe that the US market will continue to dominate the global growth. But, in my opinion, VFV is not diversified globally. So if the US struggles, VFV struggles as well. It's a bet, a smart bet, but it's still a bet. Again, just my thoughts. Here is the reality. XEQT offers higher global diversification, including emerging markets, but slightly lower historical returns than pure US exposure. VEQT is very similar, but with more Canadian tilt and less international exposure, designed for investors who want Canada to play a bigger role. VFV is pure US exposure and historically higher returns, thanks to tech dominance, but absolutely less diversification. All eggs in one basket. What about the fees? All 3 ETFs are very low cost. XEQT charges around 0.2%, VEQT charges around 0.22%, and VFV charges around 0.08%. The difference is by no means life-changing, but VFV is the cheapest, if that's what you care about. So, who should choose XEQT? Let's take a look. I would say XEQT is ideal for investors who want global diversification, all in one ETF, as well as those who have a long time horizon of 15 years or more. Those who can handle volatility without panicking and losing their minds, like I would, and who believe in owning the world and not just one country. What about VEQT? Well, it's quite similar, but slightly different. VEQT is perfect for investors who want global diversification, but with a Canadian tilt, who believe Canada's banks, energy, and dividend stocks deserve more weight, and who still want this simple long-term growth. Lastly, what about VFV, you may ask? Well, I would say VFV is best for investors who believe that the US specifically will continue to dominate global markets, as well as those who want exposure to the world's biggest companies. And people who value simplicity and very low, ultra low, I would say, fees, as well as those not feeling like they would miss out on Canada or international diversification, who want to go all in on one country. So, to summarize, XEQT, VEQT, and VFV are all absolutely excellent, simple, long-term ETF solutions. Much better than stock picking. XEQT gives you global diversification. VEQT gives you something similar, global diversification, with a slight Canadian tilt. And VFV gives you pure US exposure. There is absolutely no wrong choice. Only the wrong choice for your personality, your ambitions, goals, and risk tolerance. If you want to choose the world, choose XEQT or VEQT, and for America, choose VFV. If you want simplicity, above all, I would say literally any of them would work, as long as you stick with it for years and decades. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and if you made it this far, you're already ahead of so many investors who never take time to understand their own strategy. If you enjoyed the breakdown, like the video, hit the subscribe button. It tells YouTube that my videos are at least halfway watchable, and honestly, that's all I'm aiming for. And as always, this video is not a financial advice. I'm here to give you information and my personal opinion, but not tell you what to buy. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.